Welcome back into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app today. Register, sign up. Take the station with you on the go. The Phoenix Suns won a basketball game last night, although it probably doesn't feel like that, considering that they had a 24-point lead and they watched it dwindle down all the way to 3 points, and you're probably not feeling great today on a Friday. You're probably not feeling like it was a victory last night, even though they're back to 500. They have won 5 of their last 7. They're 1-1 on this current road trip. You probably don't feel any of that today. You don't feel like you're watching a team that is playing pretty good basketball as of late. 5 of their last 7. Probably don't feel that way today, but you're not giving the win back, and nor should you. They won the basketball game, and I'm not playing this game of, it feels like a loss. It's not great what happened last night. What happened in last night's game is, I don't want to say inexcusable, that's too far, but it shouldn't happen, right? Because going into the game, we talked about it. This was the golden opportunity to get out to an early lead and to be able to take your foot off the gas pedal and not have to play Devin Booker 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, right? This is your chance to give some guys, even though you're not fully sitting them, to give them a couple of minutes, right? So that they don't have to be overloaded when you got Detroit coming up. You got Cleveland coming up. You have the rest of this road trip coming up, right? You've got 3 more games on this 5-game road trip swing where you're not sleeping in your own bed. You're away from home. Wouldn't it be nice to maybe on a given night be able to just rear back on and be able to just be like, hey, you don't have to play 39 minutes in tonight's contest. You can play, Booker played all 12 minutes. If he only played half of that, we're getting closer to 30 instead of 40 minutes. That would have been nice. That's nice over the course of a long 82-game season, right? You're not giving the game back, but you missed an opportunity last night. But I'll tell you what, you know who's not missing opportunities right now? Devin Booker. Here is what he has been able to do in his last 5 games. So this goes all the way back to January 9th when they played Atlanta. By the way, they're 4-1 in this 5-game stretch, okay? So in this 5-game stretch, the Suns 4-1. Here's what Booker has done in the last 5 games. 20 points against Atlanta, 34 against Utah, 30 against Charlotte, 35 against Atlanta in a loss, 37 last night against Washington. 4 straight 30-plus point performances. From October through December 31st, Devin Booker had 7 30-plus point games. 7 of them in 2.5 months, 3 months. He has 4 in a row right now. He has found it. I don't know if it's just the rust or whatever was bothering him wearing off. I don't know if it's the move to the bench. Bradley Beal is just freeing up more space for him to operate, and he's just more comfortable in that role, and he's just being able to find a quicker rhythm that's allowing him to have these 30-plus point performances. Whatever it is, I want the Phoenix Suns to keep doing it. Because you are seeing this basketball team play differently right now. You are seeing this team maneuver the minutes around of who is on the floor at what time. The move to Bradley Beal to the bench isn't to say, hey, you're going to play less minutes. It's not a move to say, hey, you're only going to play 22 minutes now to the bench. It's, no, you're going to play a similar 30-minute workload, but we're going to utilize it differently. And it's going to give you different spacing on the floor. It's going to give Devin different spacing on the floor. It's going to give Durant different spacing on the floor. It's going to allow us to look differently while asking these 3 big players to score a ton for us, right? And you know who has seemed to take to this move the most or the best? Devin Booker. And this is a guy that we were asking questions about early in the season. What's wrong with Devin Booker? Why the slow start with Devin Booker? What's going on? How do you fix it? All of a sudden, when the team is near rock bottom, when the season is spiraling out of control, he has all of a sudden found his game. He has all of a sudden found 4 straight 30-plus point performances. He scored 37 last night. Now, that's in large part because he had to play 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. A game that he didn't need to play 12 minutes in. I just want to keep reminding everybody, didn't have to do that. He scored 14 in the fourth quarter in his 12 minutes. So he maybe wouldn't have gotten to 30 if he backed off in the fourth quarter. But you blow the lead from 24-3. You needed all 10 of those points. The 10 points that he scored in the fourth quarter. You needed all 10 of them. But Devin Booker has found something. And if it is directly related to the Bradley Beal bench move of reallocating the way this looks, that is a nice side effect that might be working. And that might help make this sustainable. Because our question about the bench move is, are you going to get the consistency now from Bradley Beal coming off the bench? And we've given you the game logs. It's all over the place. But if a new consistency can emerge out of this, that you're going to get these types of performances from Devin Booker, you're now just kind of moving around where the points are coming from. So then on a given night, when you get these 30 burgers from Devin, and you get the 20-plus points off the bench from Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant is doing Kevin Durant things, now you look like the big three, and now you look like the team that we saw at the start of the year, and now you start looking like the team that plays into the potential of what you can be. That's the dream scenario, right? The dream scenario is the move to the bench. Bradley Beal is able to come off the bench and drop 25 like he did in Philadelphia, a 20-plus point performance off the bench. You get these types of nights from Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant does Kevin Durant things, and you're getting 70, 80, even potentially 90 points from the big three, right? That's probably the North Star. You're looking for probably 70 or 80 on a given night from those three. And then you know you're going to get what you're going to get from Grayson Allen and Ryan Dunn and Royce O'Neal and everybody else coming off the bench, right? But you need about 70 or 80 to feel really good about where you're at in a game from the big three. And so that's where the move to the bench might be sustainable. If this version of Devin Booker is there the rest of the way. If we see this version of Devin Booker the remainder of the season, and I don't mean he's got to drop 30 in every single game, but if he has turned a corner to where he gets back more to his career norms, the numbers that we expect from him, then I think there's a chance that this could work. And then I think there's a chance that we can slowly start to believe in this team again. The more of those performances that we see stacked together, the belief will start to come back. You don't believe after last night. You don't believe after watching a 24-point lead evaporate to 3. You don't believe after losing to Memphis or to Charlotte or starting with that loss to the Hawks. You don't feel differently. You would feel differently if for 7 or 10 games you're getting really good performances off the bench from Bradley Beal. Devin Booker is continuing to do what he's doing, and the big three is scoring 70, 80, maybe even 90 points a night, and they're winning a lot of basketball games. You're then going to start to believe again because you can buy into that. You can't buy into what you saw last night. You're scared of what you saw last night. You're scared of what you saw against Charlotte, against Atlanta, against Memphis. You're scared because it doesn't feel sustainable. It doesn't feel like the team is on solid footing. It feels like they could lose this weekend to Detroit. You don't walk into this weekend against Detroit feeling like, oh, you know what? The Suns are going to play well. The Suns are going to take care of business against Detroit, a team that's 21-20. They're a young upstart team in the Eastern Conference, but they're not head and shoulders better than you. You can win that basketball game. You should win that basketball game. But you don't feel confident right now to sit here and say they are going to win that basketball game. And I know you don't feel that way about Cleveland. We said that was the one loss you give them on this road trip. You know that loss is going to happen because Cleveland is playing some of the best basketball in the NBA right now, and you aren't. And so if there is one good thing so far that we have seen over the last week, it is that Devin Booker has found his game. And if Devin Booker is going to play like that the remainder of the season, this team might be able to will themselves into the playoffs. They might be able to will themselves into a nice, solid spot in the NBA playoffs. And so I know last night probably left a bad taste in your mouth, a 24-point lead cut to 3. But you won the game last night. Ryan Dunn looked awesome. Devin Booker continues to be awesome. So don't ignore what happened. Don't ignore that they blew that lead. Don't ignore those warning signs. But also know there's some good that came out of last night. There's some good that they can carry into Detroit, that they can carry into Cleveland, that can carry into what we talk about on Monday. And that is Ryan Dunn played awesome last night, and Devin Booker is back.